Hey everybody, welcome to Have You Ever Heard? Every time on this podcast, we are going to dive into an album that one of us knows and loves and that the other person is hearing for the first time. So Morgan, this episode, it's your time to pick the album. So what album are we going to be talking about today?
Today, we are going to be talking about Blonde by Frank Ocean. I picked this one because I thought that you would think that I'd pick a Kendrick Lamar album.
I totally did.
So I said I'm going to make it a Frank Ocean album
Is
instead.
a Kendrick Lamar album coming up in the future?
I don't know. After that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer discussion, I mean, you might have to listen to that.
Do you want to
soundtrack.
catch them up on the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yes, I am currently co-directing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on stage, which has not happened before. This is a brand new stage musical, and Enzo has not heard the soundtrack to the musical
I never
yet.
knew it existed.
It's brand new.
I don't think anyone knows it existed, to be
Well, they
honest.
do now.
I like Rudolph, though. So.
I love Rudolph. It's one
Yeah.
of my favorites.
So yeah, we're talking about Blonde today.
Yes.
And I just want to preface by saying that I'm so excited to finally be doing this because we were supposed to record this with our last episode when we talked about Nebraska. And so I had the album listened to and had my thoughts on it and everything back then, like a month ago. And then we were supposed to do it last week and we had to cancel. We ran out of time. We were supposed to do it yesterday and we had to cancel. And I'm just I didn't look up anything about this album or anything about Frank Ocean. I know 0.0 about this man.
One thing I'll tell you about Frank Ocean, just from the start, is the fact that we kept canceling this episode is really on brand. Okay. And I'll get into that later, but just remember that.
Yeah, so I know, I didn't know any of his songs. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know what genre I still don't really, I don't think this album falls into a particular genre, but I knew absolutely nothing about this guy. So I will start off by saying that in the last episode, you mentioned that you like albums that you could sleep to. And I definitely got that vibe with this one.
Yeah.
A lot of it feels like a dreamy kind of late night drive. And I really like that vibe. The production of this album is so unconventional and so involved. Every song has so many different layers to it, so many different stems that I was able to listen and be like, no, what's the meaning of this? What is who's he talking to when he says this? What does this mean? I felt all of the emotions in it, but I don't know if I could verbalize. I don't know what I felt, but I did definitely get strong emotions from all of the songs. The emotion that I'm talking about is like I said, I don't know the backstory. I don't know what each song is about, but there's so much pain in all of this. There's so much hurt that you could kind of hear in his voice and in the lyrics, but there's also so much tenderness and so much love in them. And I don't know what the backstory of it is. There's a lot of symbols, I feel like. Something that kept on coming up was, and I don't know if there's significance behind this, but most of the songs make some reference, and pools is also a big image. So that's just something I picked up on. I don't know if that is something noteworthy, but that is something that I picked up on here. In the long amount of time that I listened to this album for the last couple of weeks, I did work, like I said, to understand what it was about, but I kind of am content with just I've had one song on repeat pretty much just because I love the way it makes me feel. I don't necessarily know why, but it's a great song. I'll give you my top three, actually. So 3, I'll cheat and I'll pick 2 of them. It's both solos. I love, they're very different from one another.
Something about those solos, there's a bull and a matador, that part specifically, it gets me. It's just solos. Both the solos are really great.
Because the first one is more of a ballad, and then the second one is fast and it's up tempo rap kind of. And I also like how in the reprise it's a play on words where it's not solo, it's so low. I thought that was cool. 2 is probably Pink and White.
Right.
Is that his most popular song?
I would say off that album,
okay.
That is probably one of his top songs from it, because I feel like a lot of people think that's more easy to listen to. It does. It's one of the only songs with a conventional beat. Yes.
And it's a really great beat. It's a really catchy song. And my favorite is Self Control.
I love Self Control.
That one I've been listening to on loop. Like I said, I have no idea what it means, but I love how stripped down it is. Like there's just like one like electric guitar kind of,
Yeah.
and layers of vocals. And he has an incredible voice.
His singing is beautiful.
It's amazing.
Like,
I love
so
how
good.
at the end of that song, he's like building these huge chords, and it's all his voice, and it just echoes. Like there's reverb in it, and it just has a really unique flavor to it. So that was probably my favorite song on the album. Something that I was thinking of when I was listening to this album and reading through the lyrics and everything, something that I kind of been comparing it to is Bohemian Rhapsody, kind of, where that song, the meaning of it is debated. Everything is obviously very symbolic, very big and larger than life. Doesn't really make sense in a logical way, but that is kind of considered, I think, like the main theory, at least my interpretation of it, I think the main interpretation of that song is that that's kind of Freddie Mercury's coming out song.
Right.
And like it's how he felt pushed him to express it in this way. I kind of got similar vibes from this album. I don't know if it's exactly that, but I feel like that it might be something similar where it's this big I don't know how to put it. It's just like this big event, this big message that the only way to express it is through this cryptic sort of way. And I'm excited to hear the backstory of it. I'm excited to hear the backstory of the name and album cover too, because Blonde is, how many songs does the word blonde show up? I think it shows up in Self-Control. I don't know if it is anywhere else.
There might be like one more song really, but he doesn't really mention it.
Yeah.
Just the part that's like, you cut your hair, but you used to live a blonded life. It's like you're kind of moving forward from that.
Okay.
So I think that's just like interesting in itself, because I kind of have some notes on like why, because if you look at different album covers, it's different. The spelling's different.
It
and
is.
Everything.
Yeah. Like I think on Spotify, the name, like where it says the name of the album, it's like BLONDE, but on the cover it says BLOND.
Yeah, so
I'm like, what's up with that?
He did that to have one of them seem more masculine and one of them seem more feminine. And I like that you brought up Bohemian Rhapsody and like called it like a coming out story. So the backstory with Frank Ocean is right before he released this album, right before he released Channel Orange, which is his other album.
How far apart were they released?
Not too far apart. They were pretty like close together, maybe like a few years, but nothing like crazy. I mean, he hasn't released anything in a very long time. He's released singles. His last single was released in, I don't even know. I have it written down, but it's like nobody really listens to his singles that he releases now.
He's an album artist?
Yeah, he's an album artist. You want to listen to them straight through. I love Channel Orange. I feel like if you like Blonde, you like Channel Orange too. That's a bit more, he's a storyteller. Like
Definitely.
That's just like his thing. But when we're looking at the records, so the actual physical record of Blonde has no E. And streaming,
like the vinyl
has no E. Also, you could really only find the vinyl on his website, and it goes like out of stock really often. There's like 3 things that he sells on the website, and one of them I can't even say. So like, it's just if you're interested, you can look at it. But it's like he has such like this weird like cryptic messaging toward him. But he does want to represent the masculine and the feminine, because going back to what I was saying before, he a lot of the time was like everyone was pushing him to come out and say, what's your sexuality? Apparently to the public, it was more important to know Frank's sexuality than it was to know his story. So he actually like would release these albums, and if you like listen to them, it's like some are talking about men, some are talking about women.
Yeah.
But the thing about Frank is he never gave the public what they wanted. Frank never officially came out in any sort of way. So
like
still, he's still like, he wants to keep his sexuality separated from like his work. Yeah. So he like tells these stories of his life, but he does it for himself. He doesn't do it for other people. He doesn't feel the need to please other people, which is really interesting. He if he posts on social media, that's like a milestone because he won't release music. He disappeared for a really long time.
He seems like the type of guy who would do that.
He really just disappeared. So sometimes when he posts, even he doesn't like even post pictures. He posts on his Instagram story. I'm on top of this. I always see, and I click into it, and then I text Jalen, my friend Jalen. I go, Frank just posted on Instagram. We're getting a new album.
Oh my
because
God.
if you look through like probably any Twitter feeds or anything, you look up Frank Ocean, it's just a bunch of delusional fans being like, he is releasing an album. He's not anytime soon.
I remember seeing a meme. This is off topic. I remember seeing a meme where it was like a screenshot from like an episode of Regular Show, and there was like an extra in the background who looked like Frank Ocean. He had like green hair and everything, and like the caption was like anywhere but that damn studio.
Yeah, he hasn't released music since 2019, and he hides from the public. Actually, his most recent public appearance was Coachella, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's like so exciting, and that was April 16th, 2023.
So he doesn't tour, right?
No, he does not tour.
That makes sense.
He was the headliner to this Coachella performance, and everybody hated it. And if you know about Coachella, you know it's 2 weekends.
Yeah.
So usually it's like the same artist week 1 and week 2. But they were so upset with Frank's performance that he dropped out of Coachella for week 2.
What did he do?
So what he did is his performance was cut short because there is a curfew. So people were upset about that. And they weren't very pleased with his song choices. But this was like his first public appearance in a very, very long time. And he actually stopped making music and going out into public because his brother died in a car accident, and that really affected him. He was really close with his brother, and he just has not been the same. He hasn't like recovered since that. So when he like took this step to go perform at Coachella, he was really emotional performing, and it was like some remixes, some like not of like his actual like regular music, but he did sing some. But every artist is going to lip sync a little bit too.
Yeah.
So I think if you truly appreciate Frank Ocean, you do appreciate this Coachella performance because you see it as like him trying to get better and him trying to go back to something that used to be like an outlet for him. But it just didn't seem to work. A lot of people now think Frank's more moving toward like movies and stuff like that, more like production. So if you like hear something, someone will be like, I think Frank Ocean produced that, but he'll never admit it. So it's all speculation with him right now.
That's so interesting.
I like the elusiveness of him.
Yeah. I love when people like purposely stick to the shadow, especially people who have such a big following like this. But yeah, like I wouldn't even know how the songs on this album, at least, I don't know. Do his other songs sound similar to this?
So, kind of. I think Channel Orange is also a bit unconventional in its own way.
Because like, I wouldn't even know how they would be performed live.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like this is a studio production. Because like you hear so much going on in each song, and it's not all there for music. It's there, like you said, to tell a story and to give an emotion, and it's not there for a crowd to dance to.
No, if anyone's out there like dancing to Blonde, I'd be a little like.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I mean, dance to your own beat, but I don't think this is the beat to really dance to. This is a bit more like an emotional, like pulling.
And that's what those are things that I've been leaning a lot toward recently. Is like pieces of art that at first you don't really love, but that just keep on kind of talking to you and begging you to revisit it. It was the same way we talked about Nebraska last time, where the first time I heard that, I didn't really like it, but something about it told me to keep on going back, listen to it again. And the first time I listened to this album, this isn't typically the type of music I listen to. I typically listen to music for the way it sounds and like for having cool, catchy beats and everything. That's not what this album is at all. So I listened to it the first time, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, it's not my thing. But something told me to keep on coming, and to the point where it's growing on me. And it's something more that you can't get from most pieces of art. It takes something special.
Yeah, I agree. And like this, it's so good in its lyrics, and I find it kind of inspiring because he's writing this at such like a younger age too, like in his like 20s and stuff like that.
He's in his 20s?
So, well, when he made this, I'm pretty sure he was like,
wow.
Yeah. because he was best friends with Tyler the Creator too.
Okay.
So they grew up like performing, and it's just like these stories now, like they feel more real. They can feel a bit more relatable to things that have gone on in people's lives, and I think that's the reason why he has such a big following. It's not because he releases music every 2 years. I mean, Tyler the Creator releases music every 2 years. He has a huge following. There's a bit of an overlap between like Tyler the Creator and Frank Ocean fans. Actually, Tyler the Creator broke up with Frank Ocean. They weren't dating, but they were like best friends, so they broke up. He posted it on his Instagram story. Yeah, they're not friends
When
anymore.
was this?
This was a few months ago. Tyler was like, I'm no longer friends with Frank Ocean. It's crazy because everyone, like, there's no source to find out where Frank is. So like when like
His next album's gonna be crazy then. We gotta hear his side on this.
I know. I need to know what's going on with Frank in this because like that was a huge breakup. Like what
That's
do you
crazy.
mean? Like Tyler comes out with Chromacopia last October,
Okay.
and that released on Frank Ocean's birthday.
Oh,
And everyone was like, come on, he has to be on this album. And this is kind of when he like sparked up and he was like, this is not for Frank. Frank is not my friend. I was
Dude.
like, what happened?
You said they were friends like
best
their whole
friends."
lives?
Like their whole like music career
That's
lives.
insane.
Yeah. And they were just like, they have so many good songs together too, and they were part of Odd Future together.
Okay.
So Odd Future, it's kind of like this starter band for like a lot of like rappers and R&B people. So basically everyone's been in Odd Future at some point, it feels like. Like
Is that like where they get their start?
basically,
Okay.
yeah, Odd Future isn't a thing anymore, but if you go through like on their Spotify and try to figure out who's in it, probably everybody. Like it's kind of crazy how many people were in Odd Future, but they all were able to get like their own successful career after Odd Future, and that's where they kind of met, and then they started creating music together. And who else? Frank Ocean really does not collab a lot. Let me see. He did Watch the Throne. He did part of Watch the Throne with Jay-Z and Kanye West. Human beings in a mob. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? That's like
heard
all
that,
he says in Watch the Throne. But
That's all he says?
like he is important in the song because
Yeah.
that's like a reoccurring moment in the song. But yeah, no, that's really all that is.
Dude just says what he has to say.
Yeah, and then he's out.
Nothing else.
And that's awesome.
He disappears
you know?
for years.
Like you could do that.
That's so cool.
My favorite thing about Blonde too is like you hear some like backup vocals on some songs and you're like, oh, that's probably just like some random person that he hired. No. Beyonce. Beyonce is on Blonde singing.
Which songs?
She's like if you hear any like ahs really, I wanna say it's in Pink